Hello ARMY, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now, because what happened in Tampa, Florida last night is the kind of moment that ARMY has been dreaming about for years. And I mean that literally. Years. Because if you have been following BTS since before the military hiatus, you already know how long this wait has felt. You already know what it has been like to watch empty stages, to rewatch old concert footage at 2 in the morning just to feel something, to count down the days on your calendar like your life depended on it. And now, finally, after everything, Jungkook stepped onto American soil, walked out onto that stage at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, opened his mouth, and 60,000 people absolutely lost their minds. So today, we are going to talk about everything that happened. Every single detail. Because this moment deserves to be celebrated properly, and if you were not there in person, I am going to make sure you feel like you were. But before we get into it, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. We cover everything BTS, everything Jungkook, everything that matters to ARMY, and we do it with all the love and all the chaos that this fandom deserves. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single update, because with the Arirang World Tour now in full swing, things are moving fast and we are going to be covering every stop, every moment, every viral clip as it happens. Okay. Now let us talk about Tampa. So first, let me just set the scene for you, because context matters here. The Arirang World Tour officially kicked off on April 9th in Goyang, South Korea. That was already a massive moment. BTS performing together on a full stadium stage for the first time since before all 7 members completed their mandatory military service. The internet broke. ARMY cried. Jin was back. Suga was back. Everyone was back. And the reaction from that first show in Korea was so overwhelming that by the time the North American dates were announced, the ticket sales were absolutely insane. Every single night sold out within hours. Not days. Hours. People were refreshing their Ticketmaster pages at 3 in the morning, sitting in virtual queues for hours, only to come out empty-handed. The demand for this tour has been something that even seasoned concert industry people have said they have never seen anything quite like it. And Tampa was chosen as the first stop for the North American leg, which meant that on April 25th, April 26th, and April 28th, Raymond James Stadium was going to become the most important place on the planet for ARMY. Now yesterday, April 26th, was night 2 of the Tampa run. And let me tell you something. Night 2 of a BTS concert run is always special. Because by the second night, the members are more relaxed, they are feeding off the energy they built from the first show, they are more likely to go off script, more likely to give you those unplanned moments that become the clips everyone talks about for weeks. And that is exactly what happened. Night 2 in Tampa delivered something extraordinary. The concert started and the moment the lights went down in that stadium, 60,000 people screamed so loud that people outside the venue could hear it. I have seen multiple fan videos from last night and I am not exaggerating when I say the sound in that stadium was something else entirely. There is something about the combination of 60,000 ARMY bombs glowing purple in perfect synchronization that does something to your brain. It is not just a concert. It is a full sensory experience. It is a religious experience. And every single person in that stadium knew they were witnessing something historic. And then BTS came out. All 7 of them. Together. And the roof, metaphorically speaking because Raymond James Stadium is an open-air venue, completely came off. RM leading the charge, Jin looking absolutely unreal, Suga with that signature energy, J-Hope bouncing like he has never left the stage a day in his life, Jimin moving with that grace that makes you question the laws of physics, V being his effortlessly cool self, and then Jungkook. Our Jungkook. Standing there under those lights, in front of 60,000 people who have been waiting years to see him exactly like this, and I genuinely think that the decibel level in that stadium when he appeared at full visibility on that stage was something that could have registered on a seismograph. The setlist opened with some absolute powerhouses. Not Today sent the crowd into immediate chaos. If you know that song, you know why. The energy of Not Today in a stadium setting is unmatched. It is the kind of song that makes you feel like you can do anything. And watching BTS perform it together, all 7 of them completely in sync, With a stage production that I am going to get into in a moment, it was overwhelming in the best possible way. Then came mic drop, and at that point people were already recording themselves crying while jumping, and I completely understand that reaction because sometimes joy is just so big that your body does not know how to process it, and crying while dancing is the only logical response. Now I want to talk about the stage production for a second because it is genuinely one of the most impressive things I have seen at a concert in recent memory. The Yararang World Tour uses a 360-degree in the round stage setup. What that means is that the stage is in the center of the stadium and the audience surrounds it completely on all sides. There are no bad seats. Every single person in that stadium has a direct view of all 7 members at some point during the show. The screens are massive and positioned so that no matter where you are sitting, you can see everything clearly. The lighting design is extraordinary. The pyrotechnics are timed perfectly. And the overall visual effect of looking out across a stadium and seeing 60,000 purple lights moving in unison while BTS performs in the center is the kind of image that stays with you forever. And right in the middle of all of that production, all of those lights, all of that sound, all of that spectacle, is Jungkook. And I want to be very specific about what makes Jungkook's presence at a live concert different from almost any other performer working today. Because it is not just about the voice, although the voice is obviously extraordinary. It is not just about the dancing, although the precision and fluidity he brings to choreography is genuinely breathtaking. It is something about the way he connects with the audience. There is a quality to the way Jungkook performs live that makes 60,000 people simultaneously feel like he is singing directly to them. Like he sees them specifically. Like every note he hits is a personal message. That is an incredibly rare gift. And in Tampa last night, he was giving every single bit of it. His solo moments during the show drew the loudest reactions of the night. Multiple people who attended have already posted about it, saying that when Jungkook took center stage for his individual spotlight moments, the screaming reached a level that felt physically impossible. Fan accounts that were live tweeting from inside the stadium were saying things like their ears were ringing and they had tears streaming down their face and they were laughing at the same time because the emotion was just too big to contain in any one expression. That is what Jungkook does to people. That is the effect he has. And if you are ARMY, you already understand exactly what I am talking about. Now I want to pause here for a moment and talk about something that does not always get discussed when we recap concerts, and that is what it actually feels like to be an ARMY in that room. Because I think sometimes the numbers, 60,000 people, 85 dates, 34 cities, they can make something feel abstract. So let me try to make it feel real. Imagine standing in a crowd that size. Imagine the heat of 60,000 bodies in a Florida night. Imagine the way the bass from the speakers hits your chest like a second heartbeat. Imagine looking to your left and seeing a stranger crying and looking to your right and seeing another stranger laughing and realizing that you are all feeling the exact same thing at the exact same moment. That shared emotional experience is something that almost nothing else in modern life can replicate. And BTS, more than almost any other act performing today, consistently creates that experience at a level that defies easy explanation. There is a reason people travel across oceans to be in that room. There is a reason people save for a year, drive through the night, sleep in their cars outside stadiums. Because what happens inside when BTS performs is worth every single sacrifice it takes to get there. And Jungkook, standing at the center of all of it, carrying that voice and that presence and that undeniable connection with every single person watching, is a huge part of why that feeling is so irreplaceable. Now let us talk about the surprise moment, because this is the one that sent the internet into full meltdown mode last night and is still being talked about this morning. Permission to Dance. For those who might need a refresher, Permission to Dance is one of those BTS songs that carries enormous emotional weight for the fandom. It was released during a time when the world was still navigating so much difficulty, and the message of that song, the pure joy and freedom of it, hit differently because of the context in which it arrived. And when BTS suddenly launched into it last night in Tampa, something in the atmosphere of that stadium shifted completely. 60,000 people who had been screaming and jumping and going absolutely wild suddenly also had tears streaming down their faces while they were dancing. Because Permission to Dance in that moment, performed by all 7 members on a stage in America after everything the world and this fandom has been through, carried every single bit of that original emotional weight and then multiplied it by everything that has happened since. Fan videos of that moment are everywhere right now, and if you have not seen them yet, I genuinely encourage you to go find them after you finish watching this video, because they will make you feel things. There is one video in particular that has been circulating where the camera pans across the audience during permission to dance, and you can see thousands and thousands of faces, all ages, all backgrounds, and almost every single one of them is crying and smiling at the same time. And it is one of those images that just captures something true about what this music means to people. What BTS means to people. What Jungkook means to people. And speaking of what Jungkook means to people, I want to take a moment here to talk about the broader significance of this Tampa concert, because I think it deserves more than just a recap of the setlist. This is the first time in years that Jungkook has been on a stage in the United States as part of a full BTS world tour. The military hiatus was not easy for anyone. Not for the members, who had to step away from the thing they loved most at the height of their career. And not for ARMY, who had to find ways to hold on to that connection across years of separation. Solo projects helped. Jungkook's solo work during that period was incredible and showed the world just how much depth and artistry he has as an individual performer. But there is something irreplaceable about seeing all 7 of them together. There is a specific electricity that only exists when BTS is complete, when all 7 members are on the same stage sharing the same moment. And Tampa got to experience that electricity at full power last night. I also want to mention something that I think speaks to just how significant this tour is on a cultural level. The city of Tampa itself got involved in celebrating BTS's arrival. The mayor of Tampa officially announced that landmark buildings and bridges throughout downtown were lit up in purple from April 25th through April 29th. Purple, the color of ARMY. Official city infrastructure bathed in purple light to welcome BTS. That is not something that happens every day. That is a city acknowledging that what is happening inside that stadium matters. That the people pouring into Tampa from across the country and around the world to see these 7 men perform are a community worthy of being celebrated. And I think that is genuinely beautiful. Now let us talk about ARMY for a second, because the stories coming out of Tampa over these past 2 days have been incredible. People traveled from every corner of the United States for these shows. People flew in from other countries. There are accounts of ARMY members who saved for a year to afford the trip. Stories of people who drove through the night and arrived exhausted but completely euphoric. Stories of strangers becoming friends in the ticket lines, in the merchandise queues, in the fan meetup areas around the stadium. The ARMY community showing up for each other in the way that they always do, creating an atmosphere outside the venue that almost matches the magic happening inside it. There were pop-up fan events, themed cafes, unofficial gatherings organized through social media. Local businesses reported a surge in visitors unlike anything they had seen before. The economic impact of BTS bringing their world tour to Tampa is being reported in the millions of dollars over these 3 nights alone. And while the economic numbers are impressive on their own, what strikes me more is what they represent. Each one of those dollars is a person who cared enough, who loved BTS enough, who wanted to be part of this moment enough, to make the journey to Tampa. That is love translated into action. And Jungkook and the rest of BTS felt every bit of it from that stage. Something else worth mentioning is how this Tampa run fits into the larger picture of what the Arirang World Tour represents. This tour is 85 dates across 34 cities in 23 countries. It runs all the way through 2027. It is the biggest world tour BTS has ever undertaken. And it is happening in support of Arirang, their album released on March 20th of this year, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and produced the #1 Billboard Hot 100 hit Swim. This is not just a comeback. This is BTS operating at the absolute peak of their powers, returning to the world stage after years away and immediately reminding everyone exactly why they became the most important group in modern music history. Tampa was not just a concert. Tampa was a statement. And Jungkook, standing on that stage, delivering those vocals, connecting with 60,000 people in the deeply personal way that only he can, was the living embodiment of everything that statement was trying to say. That the wait is over. That BTS is back. That this music still matters. That this connection between 7 performers and their global community of fans is not just real but is something genuinely rare and extraordinary in the landscape of modern entertainment. There are 2 more nights in Tampa still to come, and then the tour moves on to El Paso, Mexico City, Stanford, Las Vegas, and beyond. Each stop is going to bring its own moments, its own surprises, its own viral clips that we will be breaking down right here on this channel. So if you want to stay on top of everything happening with Jungkook and BTS throughout this entire world tour, make sure you are subscribed and that notification bell is turned on. Because we are going to be covering every single moment as it unfolds. I also want to hear from you in the comments. Were you at Tampa last night? What was your experience like? What was the moment that made you completely fall apart emotionally? And if you were not there, which city are you hoping to attend? Let me know everything. This community is one of my favorite things about making this channel, and I love hearing your stories and your experiences. Before I close out today, I just want to say something directly. To anyone who has been an ARMY through all of it, through the years of waiting, through the uncertainty, through the solo eras and the military updates and the countdown calendars and all of it, watching Jungkook on that Tampa stage last night was for you. Every note he hit, every moment he connected with that audience, every tear shed by 60,000 people in that stadium, that was the payoff for all of that patience. And it was worth it. It was absolutely worth every single second of the wait. Jungkook is back on the biggest stage in the world. BTS is back. And ARMY? ARMY has never been more alive. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and as always, purple you.